It is 6:52 a.m. in Columbus, Ohio, and the fourth level of the parking garage is already 3/4 full. You take the same spot every day, Section D, next to the concrete pillar with the water stain shaped like Florida. The badge clipped to your lanyard is worn white at one corner from the number of times your thumb has rubbed it, an unconscious motion you make in every elevator. You are 23 years old, and you have worked here for 11 days. The fluorescent tube above the stairwell door has been flickering since your first morning, and no one has fixed it, and, you will later understand, no one ever will. This is your life, at every rank of a race you did not know you had entered. From the bottom floor of that garage to the morning you walk out of it for the last time, and everyone decides, on your behalf, what it must have meant. Rank 1, the Cubicle. You are 23 years old, and your job title is Operations Analyst 1 at a mid-tier freight company called Hartwell Logistics. Your salary is $41,000. Your cubicle is on the 4th floor, 3rd row from the window, which means you can see a rectangle of sky if you lean back and to the left at the same time, which you do maybe twice a day for the first month and then stop doing because leaning becomes something you no longer think to want. The man in the cube next to you is named Dave. Dave is 58. Dave has been at Hartwell for 19 years. He has a photo of a boat he is going to buy taped to the divider, a used 22-foot bayliner, and he has had that same photo taped there, he tells you, for 6 years. You do the math without meaning to. Dave keeps a mug that says World's Okayest Golfer, and he microwaves the same lunch, a lean cuisine, at 12:15 every day, and the beep of that microwave is the most reliable clock in the building. You are good at the work. Not brilliant, careful. You reconcile shipping manifests and flag the discrepancies, and by month 4, your manager, a tired kind woman named Sandra, tells you that you catch things other people miss. You take this as the beginning of something. You believe with the total uncomplicated faith of someone 23 that being good at the work is the engine that moves you upward, and that upward is the direction that ends somewhere better. You are 23, and you have not yet met a single person at Hartwell who is happy, and you have not yet noticed this, and the not noticing is the first rank. Water does not ask why it is wet. Rank 2, the ladder. You are 26 years old, and they promote you to Operations Analyst 2. The raise is $9,000. You take yourself to a steakhouse to celebrate, and the bill is $84, and you leave feeling like a man who has arrived somewhere, and the feeling lasts until roughly the following Tuesday. By 28, you are a senior analyst making $71,000, and you are working past 7 most nights, and you have started to describe this to your mother on the phone as being busy, which you say in a tone that means important. There is a woman 2 cubes over named Priyanka who was hired the same year as you and who gets promoted the same week, and she leases a BMW 3 Series, and you notice the car in the garage, Section B, and you feel a small heat behind your sternum that you would not call envy, but that is envy, so you buy a car too. Not the BMW, you are not reckless, a Honda Accord, but new, $40,000 financed over 60 months, and it smells the way new things smell for about 3 weeks. You move into a nicer apartment closer to downtown, $1,300 a month. You upgrade the phone. You start getting the $15 salads at lunch instead of packing one because you have earned the $15 salad, and the salad becomes a habit, and the habit becomes $180 a month you never once decide to spend. Each thing feels earned, and each thing is earned, and each thing quietly raises the floor of what your life now costs to simply keep running. This is the mechanism, and you cannot see it yet. The raise comes and the spending rises to meet the raise, and the distance between what you make and what you keep stays exactly, perfectly the same. You are 28. You are making more than you ever imagined at 23, and you are, to the dollar, no freer than you were on day 11 in the parking garage. The ladder goes up. It does not go out. Rank 3, the number. You are 30 years old, and it is 11:40 on a Wednesday night, and you cannot sleep, so you are on your laptop reading a forum thread that someone linked in a comment, and a stranger with the username hardware_Tom has written a sentence that will sit in your chest for the rest of your life. The sentence is, your expenses times 25 is the number that ends the requirement to work. You read it twice, then you open a spreadsheet because you are the man who catches what other people miss, and you begin to add rent, car, food, insurance, the phone, the streaming things you forgot you paid for. It comes to $44,000 a year to be you. 44,000 times 25 is $1,100,000. You sit with the number 1.1 million, and you feel the floor of your life tilt, not toward panic, toward a door. Somewhere in a wall you have been walking past for 7 years, there has been a door, and hardware_Tom has just told you where the handle is. You are not trying to get rich. Rich was never the word. You are trying to get to the number that makes Hartwell optional, that makes the badge a thing you keep in a drawer, that buys back the one asset the ladder was quietly spending the whole time, which is your mornings. The next day, you do not feel different at your desk. Sandra asks if you are okay because you are quiet. You are not quiet, you are calculating. That night, you cancel the streaming things. You list the Accord on Facebook Marketplace and you buy back your own old car for $8,000, a 2011 Honda Civic with 130,000 miles, and Priyanka sees you get out of it in the garage and gives you a look that is kind and a little sad, the same look the nanny gives the child, and you understand that from this morning forward you are going to be misread by everyone, and you decide, standing there in Section D, that you do not care. Rank 4, the double life. You are 32 years old and you are living two lives that do not know about each other. In the first life, the one everyone can see, you are a man who is barely keeping it together. You drive the Civic with the crack in the windshield you will not pay to fix. You bring lunch in a scratched Rubbermaid container. You wear the same 4 shirts on rotation, and you buy the rotisserie chicken from Costco on Sundays, and you make it last until Wednesday. A VP named Greg, who has never once remembered your name on the first try, refers to you at a meeting, thinking you cannot hear, as a guy who probably has some stuff going on at home. Greg pities you. Greg, who is $190,000 in debt across a boat, a lake house, and a truck, pities you. In the second life, the one no one can see, you are becoming quietly, methodically wealthy. You are saving 62% of everything you earn. It goes into a single boring index fund every 2 weeks on the day you get paid, before you can feel it, before it can become a thing you decide about. You do not check the balance often because checking is a mood you cannot afford, but you know the shape of it. At 30, you had nothing. At 32, you have $190,000, the exact number Greg owes, held in the opposite direction. Nobody congratulates you. There is no ceremony for this. The world has a parade for the man who buys the boat and total silence for the man who buys his freedom. And you learn to stop needing the parade. You learn that looking successful and being free are two different purchases, and that most people around you have spent everything they have on the first one and have nothing left for the second. You are 32, and you are richer than every person who feels sorry for you, and you say nothing, because saying it would cost you the one thing that makes it work, which is that no one is watching. Rank 5, the handcuffs. You are 36 years old, and they make you a manager. Operations manager, $112,000, then within 2 years, $128,000. You have a team of 6. You have a door, not a full office, but a cube with a door, and you notice how badly a part of you wants that door, and you notice the wanting, and you file it. This is the rank where the trap closes on almost everyone, and you watch it close on them in real time. The money gets big enough that leaving becomes unthinkable. Your peers buy the 4-bedroom houses out in the new development in Powell with the stone facades, $700,000 at the top of their approval, and the mortgage becomes a hand around the throat that they mistake for a home. A woman on your team named Wendy tells you, half joking, that she is one missed bonus from disaster, and she is not joking, and you know she is not. They call them golden handcuffs, and you finally understand the phrase completely. The higher the pay, the more your life inflates to consume it, and the more it consumes, the more you need the pay, and the more you need the pay, the more the company owns the hours of the one life you were given. The raise is not a gift. The raise is a bid to purchase you, and almost everyone sells. You do not inflate. This is the whole discipline, and it is not glamorous, and no one will ever admire you for it. Your life at $128,000 costs exactly what it cost at $44,000 a year to be you, and everything else, every dollar of every raise, goes through the door in the wall. By 38, the index fund holds $640,000. The handcuffs are on everyone. Yours are unlocked, and you are wearing them anyway, on purpose, for a little longer, because you can see the number now, and it is close. Rank 6, the crossover. You are 40 years old, and there is a Tuesday in April when something happens that no one at Hartwell will ever know about, and it is the most important thing that has happened to you in 17 years of showing up. That month, for the first time, your money earns more than you do. The portfolio is at $980,000, and the market has a good month, and it grows by more than your salary pays you for those same weeks. And you are sitting in a status meeting listening to Greg talk about Q2 velocity. And you realize that while you sit here, doing nothing, saying nothing, an invisible second employee is out there working for you, one who never sleeps, never asks for a raise, never has stuff going on at home. You have spent your whole life being the engine. You have just become, quietly, the owner of one. You do the arithmetic on the drive home, and it makes you laugh out loud alone in the Civic at a red light on Sawmill Road. 17 years you spent believing the path up was the only path, that the answer to being trapped by a paycheck was a bigger paycheck, and the whole time the actual exit was never a better rank at all. It was owning the thing that pays you instead of being the thing that gets paid. Nobody at Hartwell is climbing toward that. They are climbing toward a corner office in the same building you are about to leave. This is the crossover, and it is the loneliest good news you have ever received, because there is not one person in the building you can tell. You cannot tell Sandra, who is 61 now and will work until she cannot. You cannot tell Wendy, one missed bonus from disaster. You cannot tell Dave, who retired last year at 67, 3 years after his wife died, and who never did buy the Bayliner, and whose cubicle photo went into a box that nobody claimed. You go home to the same apartment you have rented for a decade, $1,300 a month, and you eat the Wednesday chicken, and you feel the strangest thing, which is that the job has become optional and you have told no one, and so you go to work the next morning and reconcile the manifests and flag the discrepancies exactly as before. A free man wearing a badge, waiting for a number that is now close enough to touch. Rank 7. The exit. You are 41 years old, and on a Thursday in October, the account crosses $1,160,000, and you print nothing, and you tell no one, and you drive home in the Civic with 201,000 miles on it, and you sit in the parking lot of your building for 11 minutes with the engine off, and then you go upstairs and you write 2 sentences of resignation and you schedule the email for 8 o'clock the next morning. You give 2 weeks. That is the part nobody can process. In the exit meeting, HR, a young man named Hector, who was in middle school when you started, asks where you are going, and you say nowhere, and he types something and asks again, differently, as if he misheard, and you say it again, nowhere. He cannot write nowhere in the box. The box does not have a nowhere. Greg pulls you aside and asks, lowering his voice, if everything is all right, if there is a package involved, if legal is handling it, because in Greg's entire model of the world, a man does not leave $128,000 a year at 41 on purpose. A man is left by it. They assume there is another offer you are being coy about. They assume there was a restructuring you are being classy about. They assume, some of them, that you were quietly managed out, because that story fits, and the true story does not fit anything they have ever been handed. You do not correct any of it. You have learned, across 11 years of being pitied in a parking garage, that you owe no one the true shape of your life. On the last day, you unclip the badge, and you set it on Hector's desk, and the worn white corner catches the light, and you take the elevator down through the 4 floors of the only adulthood you have known, and you walk out to Section D one final time, past the pillar with the water stain shaped like Florida, and the fluorescent tube above the stairwell door is still flickering, 18 years later, and no one has fixed it, and now, at last, it is no longer your morning to walk under. Rank 8, the rumor. You are 41 years old, and by the following month the story has already been decided without you. It travels the way these things travel, through Priyanka to Wendy to a group chat you are not in. He got let go, there was a restructuring in ops. Poor guy, driving that old Civic. You could tell things were tight. The version that survives is not the true one. The true one, that a careful man ran a quiet spreadsheet for 11 years and bought back his own mornings 1 paycheck at a time, does not survive, because it asks everyone who hears it a question they do not want to hold, which is what they are buying with their own raise. So they choose the story that costs them nothing. They decide you were pushed. You let them. And here is the part hardware_Tom never wrote in the forum, the part no spreadsheet has a cell for. Freedom is quiet in a way you did not expect, and quiet is close to lonely. There is no one to tell. Dave is gone. Sandra is still at her desk. The days are entirely your own now, and their emptiness is a thing you have to learn to hold, the way the wealthy child had to learn to hold the silence in the big house. You bought back your mornings, and you had not once asked what you would do with a morning when it finally, completely belonged to you. You think about Dave and the Bayliner in the photo that yellowed on the divider for 6 years, the boat that was always one more season of work away, the freedom that was always coming and never came. You did not want to be the man with the photo. You are not. You paid a real price to not be him, in shirts you did not buy and rooms you did not enter and a decade of being the guy with some stuff going on at home. The number was never the hard part. The number was just math. The hard part was standing alone in Section D, being wrong about your own life to every single person who thought they were reading it correctly, and choosing to stay wrong, because the truth was yours and it was the only thing the ladder never got to spend. They think you were pushed. You stepped off. They spent everything to look like they had made it and stayed. You spent nothing to look like anything and left. The badge is in a landfill now, worn corner and all. The spot in Section D belongs to someone else, someone 23, rubbing a new badge with their thumb in the elevator. 11 days in, leaning back and to the left to find the rectangle of sky. You are 41 years old, and it is 6:52 in the morning, and for the first time since you were 23, you are not in the garage. You are at the window, and the light is coming up over a Tuesday that is entirely, unaccountably, quietly yours.